a long, quite a long question, Chris, from Saif in the
Hmm.
mailbag, but I'm gonna do my best. Right. Going by what several current and former players have said, it seems Jack Draper, would know the ball bounced on the court after hitting his racket. I fully acknowledge that it was the umpire's decision to make. Jack was not obliged to speak the truth as he knew it and give the point to Felix. It's professional sport and you are there to earn your living. However, when players do that, they should lose the right to say things like, I want to inspire children and young players, and so on. You cannot have it both ways. If they try to, they should be called out for it. Ditto for players who routinely behave poorly on court and then claim they want to inspire future generations. That's not true. They only want to win tennis matches and they should be told to shut up when they claim otherwise. What are your thoughts on
Ooh,
this? Oh,
that is
I'm out of breath.
that is a wordy one, but thank you so much, Safe, for that one. I do think that you are in two minds because if you do stay quiet, it is not your job, technically. I think we've all been in situations where we've said, you know what, this is not my job, it's not my remit. I'm not able to control what the decision making will be. And it doesn't necessarily feel like it's for you to always say. So
Mm.
I do understand that side of things, but I do also believe that you can be in a situation where you don't necessarily know what's happened. And sometimes players do not know the rules well. So some players think that things are not okay. The rule is quite often if it's one motion, then it counts. So some people don't even know that. They'll say she did a double hit. She leant over the net. You're not allowed to lean over the net, and all these sorts of things because people don't actually know. Or Sharapova once thought that she would get another serve back, a first serve back,
Mm.
because the challenge took so long and all sorts of things like this. So I think there can be confusion amongst players when it comes to it. So it's not necessarily as clean cut as this. But I do think if you behave badly, then definitely you cannot say that I'm a role model. And that's what I issues quite often with Rublev. But I also don't think that Jack Draper was lying. I think he was also not 100% sure what happened. And if you're not 100% sure, then he didn't
Mm.
want to call himself out on it. So it is tricky. It is a job. It is a career.
It's not
And
black and white. I
it
just
isn't
don't think
black and white.
it's black and white. And I think also the other thing is I think players mature, they learn, they grow from experiences, and something they do, as a junior growing up, or in their first year as a rookie on the tour, might be completely different to how they they react or go about a situation, as a veteran on the tour. So I certainly also think that that plays, and people evolve, people change. So yeah, but I sort of get that it's hard, and I think particularly in the moment when it's competitive and you want to win and there's a lot on the line, it can maybe blur and
Cloud your
impair,
judgment.
yeah,
Yeah.
decision making.
Is this a mark on Jack's record, do you think, or his
Ah,
character? Because we've spoken to him, I've met him
I
multiple times. I think
yeah,
he's a lovely, charming bloke. Should he have just said
I think
something?
I'm going to be bold, Chris. I think he knew. I think the way it happened, I think he knows that he double bounced it into the ground. The way he motions with his racket afterwards makes me think that he doesn't think it's going to go over the net and he's trying to push it over the net again because he knows the point is up. So
Mm,
I sort of think deep down he knew what was going on, but maybe his judgment was clouded by, as I say, what was at stake and the fact that
not
it was
wanted to
so.
call it.
No,
Yeah.
he was not wanting to call it, and he was sort of hid behind the fact that this was the umpire's call and not his.
It will be a lesson
Having
learned, though, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. Having said that, again, I'm not a tennis player. It all happens so quickly. That's why I think we can just clear up these situations with instant replay, VAR, whatever you want to call it, and we can just move on as quick as possible because the fact that we don't have
Yeah,
that finality. It's just like,
true.
yeah, and
Also,
fans are sort of
yeah.
left. They're just left with a sour taste in the mouth, I
And
think, with the way it's finished.
being honest is not actually a prerequisite for being a tennis player at all. That is not
Mm,
anything to do with it. Someone else should be making those decisions. But
yeah,
I can say, as a very amateur tennis player, that I do think you would know.
yeah.
Um, and I think that we can agree on that. But
It's the spirit of cricket debate, I think,
it
in the
is,
spirit of tennis. But we'll live
well,
on. I'm sure there's going to
what's,
be more.
yeah.
There's going to be
Something that isn't in
more.
the spirit of tennis, Joel, is Yannick Sinner,
Yeah, I know,
maybe.
right? I know. Just actually, very quickly, I will say the one person who has come out of it, I think, looking the best is Felix Auger-Aliassime because
So
he didn't get
classy.
angry. Yeah, he didn't get angry. had a polite conversation. Obviously wasn't happy with the decision, but he was able to just sort of move on, put a very classy statement on social media, and I thought that was that was the correct way to go about it. If there was a blueprint,
there was nothing negative about Jack. He moved on. He accepted it. He was very reasonable, and I think that yeah, he's very classy.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's move on.